In Haiti, thousands of people are dead, a country already ravaged by poverty, and things have gotten worse. I am afraid that as people grow more desperate, they will turn on each other. Families have been torn apart, children's orphans, survivors are scrambling to find water, shelter, medical aid, any kind of help. And as we all know, a starving man will do whatever it takes to feed his family. That is why I hope if you were at your church like I was on Sunday at mine, my church talked extensively about the aid that they are lending and asked us to all reach into our pockets. I hope you did. That's also why it is imperative that the United States military is there on the ground, because things could get dicey quickly. And if there's one thing that we're good at providing in situations like this is military support, security. The one inspiring thing that comes from a tragedy like this is people coming together to help those in need. Thousands of American troops and volunteers from around the world have been working day and night to provide security, food, water, and medical aid. But the major problem is getting supplies to the people. It always is. Now, there's been this bottleneck at the airport. Our troops are doing everything they can to get the planes on the ground and the supplies to the people who need it, and every single second counts. Rescuers are still piling supplies up and pulling people out from the rubble nearly a week after the earthquake. So I'm hearing that there's a bottleneck, and this made my head explode when I heard the report over the weekend that members of the U.S. military who are in charge of the airport are frustrated when vital supplies circled in planes above Haiti and couldn't land because politicians and diplomats were landing. The airport has been so crowded, they're parking these planes on the grass to make room. So any politician who thinks they need to get their photo taken in Haiti, here's an idea. Send the supplies, the rescue workers, and maybe a personal check. Leave your fat butt at home, Chuck. What they need is supplies and medical, not politicians. As the people in Haiti grow more hungry, thirsty, and exhausted, it's not unheard of to believe that they would grow desperate, and that can lead to real violence. Looting and killing always seems to follow natural disasters. That's why the military needs to be there. But some people, I believe, want that to actually happen. The president of Venezuela, Hugo Chavez. Chavez took an opportunity from this tragedy to score some political points. The United States has sent aid and troops, but on Sunday, Chavez said this, quote, "I read that 3,000 soldiers were arriving, Marines armed as if they were going to war." Well, there's no shortage of guns there. Doctors, medicine, fuel, field hospitals, that's what the United States should send. They're occupying Haiti undercover. Oh, yes, we've always wanted that Haiti island. Oh, haven't we always wanted that? Sorry, President Chavez, but it will be more than 3,000 soldiers, sailors, and Marines. If you count the troops on the ground and the ships on shore, it will be closer to 10,000. And that includes the U.S. Navy ships and Coast Guard cutters that are there to provide support, members of the Army's 82nd Airborne Division to help the survivors. The U.S. Navy ship Comfort and the military's largest medical ship will be there this week, as will the carrier Vinson, one of the largest ships in the American fleet. It carries equipment capable of purifying large amounts of water and has extensive medical facilities. That sounds like a lot of doctors, medicine, fuel, field hospitals to me. But of course, if we would have sent less troops or no troops, Chavez would have used the opportunity to attack us for that as well. I guess you can never please the socialist dictators of the world. And that being said, you can never really please the socialist dictator friends. The friends of socialist dictators, like this one, actor Danny Glover. There's been no shortage of stupid things said about this tragedy, but listen to this one from Danny Glover.
I think that other countries in the region, I think Venezuela, Brazil, Cuba, and other countries have already stepped to the point of that. This is a great moment for another type of internationalism, you know,
yes.
and I hope we seize this particular moment, because the threat of what happened to Haiti is a threat that can happen anywhere in the Caribbean to these island nations, you know. They're all in peril because of global warming, they're all in peril because of climate change and all of this. And we need to find this when we did what we did at the climate summit in Copenhagen. This is the response. This is what happened. You know what I'm saying? But we have to act now.
So now it's getting so hot that it's cold, and we're having earthquakes because of your SUV. Failure at Copenhagen caused the earthquake. Global warming caused the earthquake. The earth is angry. This is karma. Then we have this last week from Pat Robertson.
They got together and swore a pact to the devil. They said, we will serve you if you'll get us free from the French. It's a true story. And so the devil said, okay, it's a deal. And they kicked the French out. You know, the Haitians revolted and got themselves free. But ever since, they have been cursed by one thing after the other.
Deal with the devil. Like I said, no shortage of stupid when it comes to statements on Haiti. But what was the difference between their statements? Pat Robertson, the Haitian people went against God and they were punished. Media was all over that. Danny Glover said they went against the planet and they were punished. Pat Robertson ridiculed by the press for days. Danny Glover, nothing. No outcry from the progressives, because the progressives, I think, believe that bull. They have replaced God with the earth. So apparently his silly comments are okay because the earth god is angry. They're not exactly rushing to support Danny Glover, but he's not being attacked either. And I'm willing to bet that some progressives actually bought into Glover's twisted logic. Global warming led to the earthquake. Remember, these are the guys who brought you this. I pledge allegiance to the earth and all the life which it supports. One planet in our care, irreplaceable, with sustenance and respect for all. God is the planet. We've talked about this with the progressives over and over again. And when it comes to the tragedy in Haiti, I will tell you something you don't hear too often on television. Something those progressives want to get rid of. First, if you can send the money to your charity of your choosing, do that. If you can't, do this. Pray. Get on your knees and pray. Turn to God and pray for the people of Haiti, the rescuers, and pray for our country, that our leaders do the right thing because it's the right thing.